Oh, Carolyn's not here. She's gonna log in. No, she's gonna come in.
Stephanie, if you hit that, it'll turn green. Yep.
Green when I did
It was green.
Oh,
Okay.
it went green when you did it.
They're interconnected. Oh, that's right. She's getting coffee.
Yes. Impossible.
That is very important.
Of course. I agree.
Would you like coffee, ma'am?
No? Thank you, Carolyn.
All right, let's get the meeting started. Invocation. Heavenly Father, please help guide us public officials to make the right decisions for the people of Alcona County. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start with roll call.
Thompson,
Here.
Small,
Here.
Brady,
Here.
Drummond, here, Foster.
Approve the minutes from December 16th, 2020 regular meeting and December 29th, 2020 special meeting and the January 4th, 2021 organizational meeting.
So moved. All three.
Second.
Moved by Drummond, seconded by Small. Any comments, conversation? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Gothier,
Yes.
Drummond,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Next item, public comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Please identify yourself. Anybody on the World Wide Web want to weigh in today?
Good morning. This is Carrie Mullins, Alcona County Republican Party Chair. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. It's nice to see Adam Breggy as the Chair of the Board of Commissioners. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you on winning your election. And we look forward to seeing you at perhaps some of our Republican functions as the year progresses. So thank you very much and have a prosperous year and do good. Of course, as always, we're keeping our eye on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Anybody else?
Good morning, commissioners. This is Lenny Avery from the Alcona County Commission on Aging. Just wanted to kind of give a quick heads up to the public. We are doing another pop-up pantry on January the 20th, and it's going to be at the ARA site. There'll also be a site at Greenbush and also at Lot Baptist Church. It is open to Alcona County residents. We have been seeing a very big outpouring of people needing support, especially after, during the holidays. I think we're still averaging about 500 cars per pop-up, especially since we're only down to doing one. So we are working diligently on this. I'd like the county commissioners to kind of consider, I had talked to Commissioner Brumman and Commissioner Johnson before he got finished with his term about setting up snow plowing at the ARA site. The manager of that site doesn't have access to a plow, and the agency, my agency, we had to pay $500 to get that site prepared for people to do for pop-up. So if that can be on something on your radar, we're going to continue to be doing these things at least once a month. And because I just feel our community needs it. So if we could figure out how either we can split the cost or somebody with a tractor can go do it, whatever, but it needs to be done. And I'm happy to continue to provide the service, but I want to work with you guys and not, shoot our foot, because one semi truck worth of food is $1,200. And if we pay $500 every time, that's half a truck, so. All right, well, thank you guys. Happy New Year and good luck this year. Look forward to working with you.
What was the date? January what?
2020.
January the 20th.
20.
That's a Wednesday.
20th.
20 what?
Thank you, Lenny.
2-0.
Oh, okay, I hit 28.
Anybody else for public comment? Okay, hearing none. I'm not sure if I'm doing this the right time, but I'd like to add some items of new business to discuss. At the end is fine. I'd like to discuss meeting times again. I want to discuss EDC liaison. And I want to discuss a committee to explore board secretary. That being said, we can push on no unfinished business so we can go on to claims.
There is no unfinished business.
I don't think not on there, it isn't.
Okay, claims. I'd like to make a motion to approve the pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between December 2nd, 2020 and December 15th, 2020 for check numbers 142757 to 142906 and e-check numbers 1456 to 1465 for a grand total $483,660 even.
Support.
Moved by Gothier, supported by Thompson. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Next item, 2021 committee assignments. I handed out the latest and greatest. I don't know if we need to go by these one by one or if you look through and you're happy with what you.
Changes were made from what you handed out Monday.
Well, Monday was a preliminary, but the first change or one change was on the Sunrise Side Community Corrections was Gothier, and that's now Small. And Oscoda Wordsmith Airport Authority is now Boyd.
I would like to have us consider, I understand one of the standing or current commissioners had asked about the road commission, and it seems to me more appropriate to have a standing or current board member to be our liaison to that entity, to the road commission. And I would like to suggest that that takes place.
Who have we had on the road commission prior to this? Who was it?
It was
Craig.
Craig.
Okay.
And I will tell you of the 18 meetings held in 2020, you just can't, there's no parallel to it. But in 2019, of the 18 meetings that the road commission held, attendance was at 7. I think that's a little low for a liaison, and I believe that having someone from the board would be more appropriate.
I did ask when you first approached me, you had the word open still, and before the names were applied, and I was wondering, and you said you had it taken care of. That's where I came from.
I think if Commissioner Thompson would like to do it, I personally would endorse that and would be happy to see that change.
So your position then, Carolyn, is that a commissioner should have first right to most?
I don't know.
Positions.
No, I am not saying rights,
Okay,
not at all.
okay.
I think with that, I think that
But are you saying a commissioner who then comes forward and says, I want that position, or I would like that position, does he have?
no, not necessarily, no. But this is a situation where at the time it appeared to be opened. And the commissioner said, I'd be happy to do that.
Mhm.
But more important than that for me is the track record from 2019 of attendance.
Noted. Does the board have to vote on this information, or is the chairman have authority to just go ahead and enact these?
I believe the chairman says what the committee
All the
assignments are.
Say
The
again.
board has always endorsed the chairman's selection.
So a vote?
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, then, I would to have a motion to vote on the appointments as written.
So moved.
Have a motion and seconded to approve as written. Roll call, please.
I'm
Commentary if there's
Second.
additional.
Who's the second?
I was the motion, you're the second.
Oh, I'm second.
I don't know if I can motion my
So
own
the
thing.
motion is as this is written today,
Yep.
right now.
I feel that we will have better representation. I think we will have better reports back and better attendance if Commissioner Thompson were to fill that slot.
I appreciate your input.
You know, and I think, honestly, Carolyn, I understand what you're talking about, you know, and I really feel, you know, I guess when I got on the board and I wasn't sure anything about these appointments, and we've had, you know, Kevin on the Wordsmith Authority for quite a while. The Marine Sanctuary, we had Roger, really, some of these people, Sheila was on Thunder Bay. I mean, some of these people who were ex-commissioners or just wanted to help us took some of the workload off the commissioners, is what I looked at it, is that some of these positions were open only because the commissioners just had a lot of things to do.
How can you reach that conclusion when you have a commissioner that has stepped up and said, I would like to?
Yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem.
So
with
from
that.
that perspective,
Yeah, but if we have a commissioner that wants to step up and say that the Osceola Wordsmith Authority, they would like to do that instead of Kevin, then I would think that would be just as important as this.
and I think we would be extremely foolish to move someone who has chaired that and has been instrumental in that. And with all that they have on the plate,
There's two different standards as far as I'm
I mean,
concerned.
yeah, you're approaching this as,
Two different
you're
standards.
approaching this as, it's one position, you're saying, yes, we want this, but in another one, you're saying it's not necessary.
absolutely not. I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I
I
don't
think
think so.
basically it should boil down to attendance at this point. It's not a commissioner wanting to be on a position or not, but it was the previous position operated to the best of its ability, meaning like were there people presented? Did you get a reback from the person? Did you get feedback and so forth? And
Did they attend?
that would be, I think, is where she's coming from, not necessarily a commission ask for it or a what's right or wrong in that aspect. If we're just looking at past history, and in this case, the past history as far as meetings attended was very low. That's where I'm coming from on it.
Mhm.
Because I think you're right, there's two different standards right now, but with Boyette, because he has been elected chairman down there quite a few times, evidently what he's doing there is good for the base, plus it's also good for Alcona because you're getting feedback from as high up as you can get, rather than someone that's sitting in the audience just trying to type stuff. So at this point, I believe it's two different issues.
This is why back in December, I made the suggestion that we look at each one individually because there are different things, different criteria that step in and play a part. If you're going to look at people who have been on a committee for a long time, then take me off of 211. I'm the current chairman of that, but what I'm hearing is that doesn't make a difference then. And I think that should. I think when we have an individual, and I'm not saying me, when we have an individual who is working on a committee level with multiple, in this case, 23 counties, and is able to put Alcona, be it any one of the four of you, on as chairman of X committee from Alcona County, I think that's kind of a good thing.
Well, we should always have the attitude too, though, that nobody's irreplaceable.
I agree with you completely.
I mean, everybody should be willing or able or can step up and take a position and work that position and learn that position or whatever.
Regarding the road commission one, I feel that there was better attendance, which then provides for better feedback to us.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go in there.
Well, 7 out of 18 isn't a real high record.
But it could be better too. You know, we don't know what the circumstances may be. He just was missing in meetings on purpose, maybe wasn't. Maybe he had other meetings that he was doing, you know.
That's one of the reasons that, first of all, I try to put down when they meet for those that I knew.
Mhm.
And that does have to weigh into, but you shouldn't be accepting a position of an assignment if you know it is in conflict to
Mhm.
something else that you have.
Well,
But
until we know what the meeting dates are and.
We know what they almost all are.
Okay, but,
Well, yeah,
okay,
but
so-
you're still not going to know
and
that.
Lacko just saying the same thing on both sides every time.
I'm ready.
We're making any progress here.
I'm ready to vote.
If we can just, go ahead and do a roll call.
So what's the motion again is to leave it as written.
As written, as submitted by chairman. Roll call, please.
Brumman,
I did have my hand up before roll call started.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
I would move to amend the assignment of the road commission to be that of Commissioner Thompson.
Is there a second?
Support for vote.
Okay, let's have a roll call on that then.
Small,
No,
Brady,
No.
Gothier,
No,
Brumman,
Yes?
Thompson.
Yes.
To understand, this is nothing personal here. This is somebody who has 3 terms experience as a commissioner. I thought it was a good fit. So that being said, and no other comments, we'll have a roll call on the final.
Gothier,
yes,
Brumman,
No?
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
No.
Small.
yes,
Thank you, everybody, for your input and discourse. I appreciate all opinions. Next item.
what we're here for is to have opinions there.
That's right. Credit card policy adoption. I'll accept the motion to adopt credit card policy.
there's some changes.
Has it been?
There is, but
considered?
let's do the motion and then we can talk about it with the treasurer. Okay.
I guess we make a motion to accept the credit card policy upon review.
What is this time sensitive? Yes, because we're gonna start making credit card purchases probably yesterday, right? Yeah. How long, we've had packets since yesterday?
No, you just got this last night and then.
Yeah, last night.
I guess, my opinion
Is there a
if
second?
we have a second of the motion, then we can discuss it, but I'd like to hear our treasurer's view on this and what exactly needs to be done.
Could you repeat the motion, please?
There was not a motion yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
You did, okay.
I said a motion to accept the credit card policy upon review.
I will support that.
Okay. So I'd like to, what really needs to be done on this? It's the bullet, what's the bullet point? What's the number?
The prior credit card policy we had was enacted in 2017. We went for review to change that in 2019 and it never got completed. Since the original, there has been multiple changes, multiple cards given out. The original credit card policy stated that the sheriff's department and the county treasurer were the issuing agents, and that has not been the case. It's been the clerk's office. Procuring the cards for the individual departments and the department head. It was specifically, there was no other cards other than the sheriff's department and the county credit card. You've now approved credit cards for multiple departments and multiple employees. So that is more encompassed in here, and it would be a better tracking system. It's outlined that the information needs to go to the clerk, be voted on by you. The limits were set at 5,000 on the prior. Yes.
Carolyn.
One of the things in review of it, it's perhaps somewhat minor, but on the second page, the third paragraph down, it discusses surrender of the card upon termination of employment or of holding the office, but it does not provide for with requesting the return of the card. If there's been misuse, you may not want to move the person out of the position, but you may want to retract the use of the card. And I don't see any language in here that would allow for that.
I'm not opposed to putting that in there if you feel like that they're inappropriately or misusing the card.
Did we cover that in our personnel policy though?
I did not
wondered.
pull it. It probably is. It was just our personnel policy is generic. I don't know that I have that with me. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I wasn't expecting you to know off the top of your head. I just throwing it out there.
I can look into that, and if it's not in there, we can incorporate. You can incorporate it into this. I was covering the bases of where it was solely checked out through the clerk's office, and the sheriff has one. We have, like I said, multiple departments that have them. I would do third paragraph. I'll look into the personnel policy.
But so this is exactly to the not necessarily the approval of the usage, but the just tracking of the expenditures, right?
It encompasses the issuance. The issuance. We didn't really have a procedure for issue.
Yep.
It was just never changed, and then it was given. The permission was given without having a policy in place. And it outlines the duties and the responsibilities of the departments and the hierarchy of how it happens. You have to ask for it. You don't just automatically do it. It has to be voted on, which you follow that procedure, but we didn't have a policy in place. This just is kind of taking it.
So what I'm getting at is we don't have to really address in this policy. We don't have to address the taking away of for whatever reason. That's more of a personnel handbook policy thing, right? To me, would you agree?
I just put it over in our
because I'm sorry, I'm very sorry,
ahead.
but you're trying to set it up so it's the right procedure for accounting and auditing and everything else, right?
And issuance and the use.
Right.
It encompasses everything. It would be a standard. This could be put over into the personnel policy for credit card use.
Okay.
But I felt it more important to have it in our financial policy so you're aware, and everyone has a copy of the financial policies and procedures, and everyone has signed a personnel book, but they're not specifically the same information. This is a bit more detailed. I'd have to look at the personnel policy. Like I said, I don't have that in my.
All right. So what would be the consequence of waiting, if amending this document and waiting until the
I think
20th?
Well, we can,
Oh, not a
we can
problem.
still approve.
we can
No,
approve it and then.
I'm
update.
more than happy to do whatever revisions you feel are appropriate to get this into the financial policies and procedures, and you can
Okay.
vote on it. That's why I didn't expect an answer today, but I would like to have it.
Oh, okay.
Well, it should be accepted today anyway.
Because so they
Yeah.
can use the system
I agree.
and then you can update if there's
Amended.
something better comes along as far as the removal.
I would like to see, because I don't know the credit card limits. I know there's some that exceed the 5,000 that were granted by the board. So that's where I have on that third page in that same, just under the section on the credit card limits.
So there's some information needs to be updated already.
I have no idea
You
why,
don't know what they are. So
because they've been run through the, I
Correct.
don't have the minutes off the top of my head.
Okay.
For some reason, $10,000 sticks out for one individual credit
Yeah.
card holder. So that would be an exception to this 5,000. And I
So-
don't know if there are others. And so this was just a presentation because we need it.
okay,
We got to have it. And this is a better tracking because each individual will be responsible and take that responsibility on. And this was just an outline that I worked on, that I worked
Right.
with added our information and kind of gleaned from a few other credit card policies from different counties.
okay.
So that's what I'm presenting to you for your consideration because we do need one. And
Is this something that the finance committee can work on in the next, and if I'm hearing correctly, we don't even have to adopt it the next meeting.
Right.
We could do it the first one in February.
the sooner the better, but
Finance can collect the money, the data as far as limits and stuff, but I think personnel should go after the consequences and the removal of cards, et cetera, et cetera.
Just one other point. Isn't it time that we have Stephanie, the clerk's office, give us a list of who has the cards, what the limits are and whatever? I mean, I think it's time we see a list. I mean, we talk about, there's multiple cards out there, but I don't have the faintest idea where they're at. I mean, shouldn't we get a list together so we can review that?
absolutely.
Finance will need that first. Well, everybody can have it, but we'll need
Yeah,
it to get our work
But I think
done.
it's time that we get that together and see where they're all at and see
All right.
what's really necessary.
Well, let's table this motion until February. I don't know what the first meeting in February is. I don't have a calendar.
Can't
The
see.
third.
February 3rd. Please.
Okay.
I move to table until finance and personnel has had adequate time to return their recommendations.
I'll second.
And
Bergie.
if I may, and coordinate with the treasurer and the clerk, actually.
Still seconded by Bergie. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Brady,
Yes.
Drummond,
Yes,
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes,
Gothier.
Yes.
Next item, Harbortown parking lot. Carolyn, would you like to get a beat on this?
I would at the least like to have a consensus of the board. I'm comfortable as long as it is reflected in the minutes. We are having issues with parking overnight at Harbortown. One possible solution is to allow Randy's Towing to put a sign down there that they will be monitoring it. We do have a couple of state cars that by the terms of their lease are allowed to park there overnight, but that all of their all of the cars would be towed away at owner's expense. It seems inappropriate to attempt to have the sheriff's department be running down there and checking. Furthermore, it's private property, so my understanding is they would not be in a position to really ticket. But we can do the towing. Randy's does other parking lots in the Harrisville area that they check. I don't know that they check nightly, but they check with great frequency. And for that reason, they would just go ahead and check ours also. There would be no contract. There would be no fee to the county. The individual, if their car is towed, would be contacting Randy's Towing Service and they would work through that.
how would a person that gets their car towed, how would they
Soon
find
to sign.
on?
Post
The
it on
sign
the
itself would say towing.
So I was down there yesterday looking at that. So the parking lot, are they having issues when they come to work in the morning? There's cars still left in there? Is that what the issue is?
Well, no, the bigger issue right now is the plowing. They're not able to plow because there's cars parked there, other than the two DHHS ones that are on the very north end of that parking lot.
So I'm assuming it's more likely the apartment building next door that's used.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
Sorry, Mike, I finally got in here to answer some
Oh,
questions.
hi.
I was running late.
Thanks. That's okay.
Okay, go.
To bring everybody up to date on this issue, it started this spring when we went with lockdown procedures and the buildings were closed down for a long period of time. In the meantime, some new people moved into the apartment complexes, according to Brad, and they started parking in the parking lot. We really weren't paying attention to it because we were on complete lockdown. When the DHS office tried to return back to work and Precious paused midsummer in June, they couldn't find any place to park for their employees and the staff and everything like that because there were so many cars being parked there all the time. They were just parking there all day and all night. I started by going down in June and putting signs on the windows saying this is not a public parking lot. You have to, be here, stuff like that. I did it 3 times a week for 2 weeks and it didn't seem to make a difference. And it kept saying, so what we decided to do was put up signs. Actually, we purchased signs, worked with the city of Harrisville. They came over and helped us with their tractor, put new signs in there that said that this is for customers and staff parking only, and there's to be no overnight parking. Because we knew that it was become an issue in the wintertime when they're plowing. That worked for a week or 2, and then they were right back to parking there again. And then we went on the second lockdown, so we've kind of been dealing with this on and off and what to do. And then all of a sudden the snow came, and the first time John's Home Maintenance went down there to plow, there was 4 cars on top of the 2 DHS vehicles that we allow to park there. We created a little reserve parking spaces for them to leave their vehicles all the time. But it's all the other vehicles that are becoming an issue down there. I did sign them one more time. So the next option would be is to possibly tow them out of there and sign it and have them towed out of there. It's not technically a public parking lot because we are leasing out our business spaces and they need places for their employees and the customers to park. I contacted Randy's Towing and just before Christmas, we met down there and stuff like that. And I went over the procedure with them. So the idea would be I go down there next week again, sign any vehicles that are left there overnight when I come in the morning at 7, put signs on their thing and say, listen, there's gonna be new signs going up in another week. If your vehicle's left here overnight, it's going to be towed. Randy's provides all the signs. He will put them up down there. There's no cost to the county. It doesn't cost us anything. What he does, if there's a vehicle illegally parked there, he will tow it down to Richie's Auto Repair to their secure location down there. And to get their vehicle back, they have to go through that, not through the county. It's just one of these issues that it's going to be a long-term problem in there. The problem is their parking lot isn't big enough. The new people that moved in there have multiple cars. And now the city is enforcing their ordinance where you can't park on the city streets overnight. So they really don't have any place to park. That's the landlord's problem, not our problem.
Has the landlord, the owner of them apartments been notified?
Yes.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. And he's trying to come up with an option, and we're trying to be somewhere in the middle on this, but we're trying to come up with a solution to this.
Sounds like this is a solution.
Yeah.
They've been warned.
Yeah, they give us 2 different options. Randy's towing suggestion was either A, if it becomes an issue, they can come up nightly and patrol the parking lot, and anything left over there, they would tow it. If we don't think it's that big of an issue, he said maybe have the sheriff's department go by, check the vehicles out, and if they see a vehicle parked in there, they could call Randy's Towing and they'll come up and get the vehicle. So we have a couple different options, but they have a couple other parking lots that they do patrol up in this area. I'd like to give them one more time next week, go down there and flag all the vehicles, give them a chance and say, look, this is we're going to start having to tow these vehicles out here because they're trying to get back up and running down there on a limited basis. Any questions? I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I guess one more chance and yeah.
I will move that, if I may, that we follow the procedural plan as indicated by the Buildings and Grounds Department head, providing notification one more time, and then work with Randy's Towing for signage, and then towing if that's necessary.
Bill, that's your area.
Yeah. I have no problem with the towing. I think we need to check with the sheriff to make sure that if we choose one of the alternatives where the deputies are verifying and then making a phone call, that's again another step in the procedure.
Correct.
And they may not want to be babysitters of a parking lot either. So,
Exactly.
They don't, and their
don't.
problem is they can't ticket anybody there
right. But
because it's a public parking. Now, the first thought, we'll just have the sheriff's department go ticket them, but they can't.
Mhm.
Because it's a private parking lot, public parking lot. It's a private parking lot, so they can't patrol it or ticket it.
and it's not an unheard of thing to have the signs up that says, you know, if you're here when you're not supposed to be, you're going to get towed away. I have no
Right.
problem with that. As long as the towing and the continuing argument about my car being towed is handled with Randy,
Yeah.
not us.
Right.
Even though we may institute it, but
I would expect we would hear from the first, at least the first,
right.
if not the first and second.
Correct, and that's why we wanted to bring it to the full board, just to get everybody up to speed of what's going on.
But
It
I
isn't
think-
like all of a sudden this happened. This has been going on all summer long.
Has anyone talked to our legal entity? Sure that
It's all legal.
I have it with me.
and I have no. Sure.
So you're seconding then, Bill, or?
Sure.
Okay, very good. Okay, motion by Carolyn, second by Bill to go ahead with the plan as presented by Buildings and Grounds. Any further discussion? That being said, roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Next item, county building closure. I think Carolyn's the most up to speed on this one. What is the current date that expires?
this Friday. We know that there is to my knowledge, it hasn't been changed. There is still you can't do anything until April 12th, 2 days after, or day after Easter, I believe. Maybe it's a week after Easter, I can't remember. My recommendation, and you all got Missy's email, is that, and I'll toss out 2 dates, that we close through either March 5th or March 12th. If we do March 5th, it allows us to reconsider this on March 3rd and then open up on the 8th, which is a Monday, if we want to do that. Or if we choose the March 12th, it allows us to reconsider opening on the 15th. I mean, it's a 2 week, and I did the 2 weeks because our meetings are every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And what gives us a chance to reconsider. We've been pretty lucky so far. Well, I guess I can't really say that. We've been at a minimum. I think we can say that.
And the courthouse has been able to function
Yes.
within the guidelines. Most of the departments have been able to function through the shutdown.
And I think the public has accepted this.
But we're not all by ourselves. I mean, there's other entities that are in the same situation. that
There
we
are other entities that don't have any contact.
Right.
You know, if you can't do it via email or phone or mail, you just don't,
Not open.
Yeah, I like the first dates because if things do change and we do get vaccines and so forth, and something changes at one end, we have a chance to.
Yeah, there's only
Move
2 weeks
forward.
difference.
Yeah.
If
So
we
we'll
go through
reopen
the
on the
5th,
5th?
if we go through the 5th.
Or I'm sorry, close until the
Close,
5th.
And then
Well, no,
review it,
through the 5th. The 5th is a Friday.
Until the 5th, yeah.
And
Not
then-
until, but through the 5th.
Okay, sure.
and then you review it, and then you can make
Which
a
would
decision. to-
Have us, the implication that we would be reopening on the 8th.
If Bill's making a motion for the 5th, I'll second.
I do.
Second by Bergie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gothier,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Small,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes. Next item, NEMCOG letter of support, Presque Isle Gas Company, Presque Isle. I'm never gonna grow out of that. That's what I said when I was a kid. Presque Gas and Oil,
Gas and electric.
whatever.
Be that way.
Anyway, they want to do broadband, and we do have some townships that have them in their area. Terry, you're telling me which township has that?
Mitchell.
Mitchell Township has a lot of.
They're
They're
actually looking at fiber.
trying to bring some fiber in. Anyway, they're just looking for an endorsement from our county commissioners to say we agree.
Yes.
I assume they're going for a grant. If somebody can make a motion to go ahead and authorize you to sign that letter.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to authorize our chairman to sign the letter of support for Presque Gas and Electric.
Support.
Moved and seconded by Bill. Any further discussion required? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gothier.
Yes.
Okay, so I added a few things to new business. First one, meeting times. I know we talked about it last week. I don't know if it's too late to make a change, but I'm still, the more I discern over and over, I think there's no reason why we can't meet at 1:30 in the afternoon. It's a half hour for everybody to get done with their lunch. There's a function here. We can get cleaned up in time, or they can start a little early. I know there's all those little hiccups and overages, but I would, I don't know if I'm supposed to make all these motions as commissioner, as chairman, but if somebody else wants to make a motion to move meeting times for the rest of 2021 on the regular dates to 1:30 PM.
1:30.
1:30 PM.
You're looking for a motion?
I'm looking for a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we change our meeting times to 1:30 PM on second and fourth Wednesdays of the month.
Second
That
and
is-
fourth?
Or first and third.
First.
First and third.
Whatever the regular date schedule is set, we're only moving the time.
Okay, following.
And I also, okay, so do I have a second? Seconded by Breggy. So I also understand that this may create other conflicts with other committees. However, oftentimes and a lot of the times we end up going over anyway because whatever reason, we got to adjourn at noon and come back at 1 o'clock to finish business. So I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. Any other discussion?
Well, I think it comes right down to that. This time, as our chairman, this time actually helps you with your workload.
It does, but I don't want to place it all on the shoulders of that because, okay, here's the new chairman coming here doing
Well, I
scorched earth
understand, but
policy to get his way. That's not what I'm trying to do.
I understand.
It does benefit me.
does
I won't
make
deny
sense.
that.
It still makes sense to rationalize that into our thinking of the meeting times is that we now have a chairman that works and that this time does support his schedule at different times.
I would point out, and Carolyn can back me up, I think on this is, back in the old days of Jerry Jazinski had to work in the morning and we always had a meeting at 1 o'clock because he worked during the morning part. And that was one reason why. I remember we had meetings at 1 o'clock.
You are correct. You are correct. And finance was held at 9:30
Yep.
of the same day.
You and I sat on that board.
But I just feel Adam's absolutely correct. With some regularity, maybe not frequently, but certainly with some regularity, we will have the auditor, we will have healthcare, we will have a presenter, NEMCOG or whoever, come in at 1, and we've just continued our meeting. I think that begins to deflect that. I just feel that staff, it's a better thing to have it get started in the morning. If you want to move it up to 9, I feel that's more appropriate, more beneficial to all of the parties involved, not just the 5 of us. then going to a 1:30 or 2 o'clock, or I guess 1:30 was what the motion was.
Do we get, is there a pay problem also when you go from, if you start the meeting later and you have to run over? Is there a wage situation?
Yes, if we are utilizing hourly.
Hourly people? I mean,
If,
But when do we usually utilize hourly people, right?
well, when either one of these aren't, these are
Their
elected.
salary.
Their salary.
True, but when they're not here, one of their,
And frankly, it gives little incentive to the meeting not to go 6 hours. There's no reason why we have to sit here for more than
I don't
3.5
think
hours.
You have sat through a 6-hour meeting.
I'm just saying,
Adam.
yeah. that's
there's
true.
no reason why we have to,
If the meeting goes that long, we go that long, that's all.
I mean, and we've had instances over the last few years when we've changed a meeting time due to some schedules, so I mean, we remain flexible throughout the year, but, I guess the motion is that we change our meeting times at this.
To
time
1:30. Yeah.
A little input maybe from the treasurer and clerk.
No.
Any office that's on there, maybe they could put in a little input.
Well, I mean, it's not really,
It's not appropriate.
yeah, it's not-
I'm just kind of asking, if there's something out there that.
the biggest outside of us that affects is the clerk and the treasurer. And I considered that also, but I think it gives clerk and treasurer a little more extra time in the morning to get ready too. They can use their day before to conduct the day before business, but I can't speak for everybody. I'm just putting the motion out. If it gets voted down, it gets voted down, but
I put the motion out, you second.
I requested the motion to be put out. I will bear full responsibility for the letters to the editor. It'd be great.
You have broad shoulders.
So, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gothier,
Yes.
Drummond,
No,
Brady,
Yes,
Small,
Yes.
Thompson.
No,
motion carried.
Does that need to be posted?
We'll have to post it before the next meeting, and however you post the regular meeting dates
And I haven't.
on the website. You probably haven't had it posted, the other ones up yet.
Not yet.
Right. I figured I'd catch it before then, it'd be easiest. Next item I'd like to talk about, EDC liaison position. So over the last few days, I've had a lot of discussion with people regarding the Air Force Base, Airport Authority. Kevin has been on that position a long time, and he's a chair, and it is appropriate to leave him in. However, we have been having some gaps in reporting, which, addressed with him, I'm sure he'll step it up. But I think it's vital and important that especially we're making efforts with this EDC volunteer committee that we have formed, that they have their hands in communication with that because of the new possibilities of spaceport and everything else. I think these people need to be part of the process as much as we can get involved. Now, EDC is still the Board of Commissioners. We haven't made a move to change that. But I would like to appoint somebody to be EDC liaison, which would be essentially to the board, but not the board as the Board of Commissioners, but the board as the EDC board. Does that make any sense?
Well, when this all started and when Doug Cheek and them formed this committee, Craig and I, as commissioners, said at that point in time that we would sit in on their meetings and help them along or whatever.
Yep.
Craig has continued that on. I haven't. My workload got so much that I have not really attended their meetings or anything like that. Craig is now going to be a member. He can be a member of that.
Yep.
I know that. I think he already is a member of that committee right now, which is doing a great job with the broadband and all that, and are happy the way they're concerned. I think it's a good idea. But one of us commissioners go to their meetings and be a liaison back to our board to hear what they have to say, what they're doing.
Right. And it could also be an appointed person too.
Sure.
Because we got lots of boards we're already appointed on. I'm just trying to create a position I don't necessarily stick him in a slot right now, but consider and think about having that position to marry those two things together, because if we don't jump on it right now, we're going to miss the bus. We're going to miss the bus on this. When everything starts to speed up, and what happens with these kind of projects is they stall, and then everything is, oh, hurry up right now. And if we miss that train and we don't have the right people in place to take advantage of getting advertising for people who live in Alcona County or whatever it takes to get us a little more tax revenue here, we're going to be sorry. We have an EDC, we have the EDC board, and we also have a liaison to the Wordsmith Airport Authority, but we need to have an extra layer of connection there.
You don't have a liaison to Airport Authority.
We have what do you call it?
They're a member.
A member.
Yeah,
They're not a liaison.
right.
Regardless.
We have two members from Alcona County.
Right.
Serving on the Oscoda Wordsmith Airport Authority.
Right.
Board.
Now, are you looking for someone on the EDC board to go to the airport to keep them abreast of what's going on, or are you going from the EDC to commissioners? You know,
I think both parties. They would keep everybody abreast,
okay.
and then have a key role in not only because Kevin is assumed the responsibilities of, he's the chairman of their board.
Right.
So he's not 100. I mean, he looks out for Alcona County. It's not what I'm trying to say, but he's also got duties of looking over the finances, and he's into the gears and the bolts of that board up there, and not so much of.
But he reports back to us about once a quarter.
True, but I'm just saying, I just think we're missing the boat if we don't have somebody trying to coordinate and keep tabs on where the opportunities are and where they arise.
Well, I think we just get a hold of Doug Cheek, who's their chairman, and ask Doug, is there somebody on their board or on their group that would like to interact with the Oscoda Wordsmith Authority? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking it would be better to have a position, like an official.
You mean like on one of our works, you know what I mean, like this, you mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, for the committee, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I have no problem.
I'm just throwing it out for an idea. I just don't want to miss the boat on this.
I'm struggling because in my input on this is I'm struggling only because this is a board. The board is the EDC.
Right.
And I understand a committee for providing information, but ultimately it's your decision on any of the items that come. You would take it under advisement from their board.
Right.
But you ultimately make that decision. And that was with the if there was a disconnect in communication, you're making decisions on information you don't have. That's my only concern.
Well, and I think.
I'm trying to decipher information I don't have.
If the information isn't provided,
right,
how can you make decisions on that? Because ultimately it is your decision as a board.
True.
For anything that happens with the EDC, how they spend their money, how they make their processes, where they're moving forward to. That's ultimately up to you as a board.
Right.
There definitely needs to be a liaison from the committee in contact with at least one board member. I don't feel like it would be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that would encompass part of this responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I guess I didn't.
Yeah, that would be part of the responsibility. It would be, main report back because the current committee doesn't have the appetite to take over the whole EDC and be
Well,
the
no,
EDC
no.
board.
But, I mean, Doug has come and spoke to us before, but in my conversation with him just the other day, only because I was talking about this NEMCOG letters, because they sent a letter of support also from their committee. And I'm just talking to them, and they're happy with where they're at, but they know that this, as all of a sudden potential for grants or something comes in sooner or later, as they continue to grow and this thing expands, hopefully, sooner or later, it's going to come back to being on the EDC board, because then money's going to be involved. And that's when it's all going to come back to us, or we're forming an official board. But right now they're running and doing everything they can. It's not costing us any money. They're representing Alcona County, and they're doing a great job. I mean, and that's where they're at. But he knows sooner or later it's probably going to end up. One day he's going to walk in back here and say, "Hey guys, we have this potential, but we have to match $15,000 to get this 150,000 or something." Something's going to happen sooner or later. He knows it, but the way it's going right now. But I think it's a good idea that one of the existing board members attend their meetings and help that connection between whatever we need. Yeah, come back to us because we're the EDC board. And I think you're going to have that. I really do. But
I think it could be perhaps a little more appropriate, rather than saying we are going to send. They have their own structure right now.
Right.
And I think if perhaps a letter that says, in the cooperation of sharing knowledge and information, we would like to have someone act as a liaison to your committee.
Okay.
Is that agreeable to you?
you want me to handle that? I can handle it. Then.
Yeah, see what you can find out.
Okay, let's see what I'll come up with. Okay,
I just don't want to miss a boat, man.
I know. I got you.
It's important to Alcona County that we get more residents here.
Yep.
All right. Well, we talked that into the ground. Last thing I wanted to add in there was I wanted to talk a little bit about creation of a position, not officially create a position, but the exploration of a commission. Sorry, not a commission.
Committee.
A committee to explore the possibility of a board secretary. It is in lieu of, having a full executive director. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, executive secretary.
What would you have that individual do? What is your perception of?
Well, that's exactly the thing that needs to be explored. Now, my perception of a board secretary is somebody that is going to compile data, reach out to department heads, like help with budgeting, for example, is a big one. Help with writing. So when we come to meetings, we have all our motions written up for us. You contact the secretary and say, hey, you know what? We need to make a motion and get a hold of Stephanie and add it to the list for this. You know what I mean? It's a lot of counties have it, and I think it would be a benefit to us, and we get a lot more done in a lot less time, and we could have a better Alcona County for it, I think. However, all I'm saying is I would like to go in and explore what other counties are doing with an executive
Administrator?
Administrator. I don't want to go full administrator. I'm not saying that because I know it's a $120,000 position probably if you will get a qualified somebody from somewhere with all the proper education. But in the meantime,
Is your perception a part-time or a full-time?
part-time,
Part-time in your perception of the either hourly or
well,
salary?
here's the thing. I don't want to put a label on it yet, but we need to start thinking about the concept of an executive secretary.
Someone between us and the employees,
Right.
basically.
So you're not talking
Not-
county administrator,
Not a full county
not a board
administrator,
secretary. So you're
board
creating
secretary.
a job.
creating a job. But I'm not, let me step back. I'm not talking about I'm not creating a job. I want to explore the possibilities of would Alcona County benefit from this position to be here? How much would it cost for a full-time? How much would it cost for a part-time? We don't have to put labels on anything yet, but
So this is barring the conversation we had at our last finance meeting. This is in addition to or a side
It's
note,
just
a new thought.
a new thought,
Fair enough.
a new thought, not canceling anything we've talked about in the past. You know what I'm saying? We need to, I'm looking around other counties and how operations go. And I don't know. I would like to see if this is a crazy idea and you guys say, nah, we don't need to consider this. Hey, that's fine.
Well-
I'm just bringing it up because I would like to bring it up.
I think discussions in the past, and we certainly don't have to use the past as a guide. I'm not saying that that's necessary, but and Terry, you remember this conversation's held at least once every other year, if not once every year.
Very common.
We as commissioners have always written out our own motions and done that legwork, if you will, ourselves and accepted it as our obligation and responsibility in being a commissioner.
And I'm not against that. And I will continue to do that. But one of the things that would also benefit is that if we all get elected out of this board tomorrow, next election, and a whole new batch of people come in that don't know anything about commissioning, now you have somebody in a position where, well, yeah, this is what they did before, and this is how they would have procedural stuff as a knowledge base.
I think, we can talk about this a lot. I think the biggest point is we have other counties. Iosco County has an executive secretary. Osceola County, Alpena, there's different counties.
Absolutely.
Let's research those counties. Okay, what is that person doing for you, and how is it working? I mean, and when I look at Alcona County, I know that our offices upstairs have a tremendous workload, and
we're understaffed.
we lost a clerk that was here for 40 some years that really was an executive secretary, was a county administrator, and she did everything. We don't have that position anymore. Everybody's overloaded, and we have commissioners that come and go regularly. I mean, if you're on here over 10 years, I think that's a big thing. Carolyn's is a rare
Which
example.
is our saving grace right now. Carolyn's our saving grace.
Yeah, but
She's a problem child. Let's be honest.
I really
it's equal
think
parts.
I really think I really think if it's working for other counties, we need to look at that. I mean, I just personally think we just need to research it and come up and say, okay, this is how it's working.
I don't disagree. I think one of the things that would be extremely beneficial would be to see what their job description is.
Yeah, right, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I know Osceola County, I think it's like $38,000 a year that they pay their executive secretary. Complete, I just don't know everything there, but I think we just need to look at that.
And that's cheap. I mean, we can get information and it doesn't cost us.
Yeah, it
anything.
doesn't cost anything. You're putting a package together and saying,
Right.
Is this good for Alcona County? Is it not good for Alcona County? And have what's going on. It's got to be good, because we're probably one of the few counties left in the state that doesn't have an executive secretary or a county administrator.
You are correct.
And there's a reason for that. And cheap. Yeah, well, yeah, but it could be the reason we had one. It could be the reason we had one that was under payroll anyway.
You're right.
And that's gone.
But I think it's we're looking into it.
We had a county
We
administrator.
had one. I was going to say.
Yeah, John
History.
Williams was a county administrator. So it's back a couple of years. But
So anyway, I think it's a good idea, Adam. And
Well, then when a constituent comes up and asks you, well, why don't you guys have a secretary? Now you can say, oh, exactly, this is why. Because
so you're looking
we did
for
the
a
research, and
couple of us as a committee to.
I would,
do the
I think so.
research?
Out some volunteers, or table it today, or just
Just
go off
table it.
on your own,
And just give us a chance to.
There was no motion made.
no
Table.
motions.
Huh?
There was no motion.
Well,
No.
not officially table it, but
No, I think,
It was a discussion that we're going to pursue.
I have one.
All right. okay. So Dan's got a new business item.
Well, there's something came to my mind, and Carolyn brought this up in an email a couple of weeks ago that has a lot of merit. Is that with all the grants and that they're out there,
Oh, yeah, I
available,
forgot, yeah.
about having someone on the board as a person that kind of follows these grants and kind of keeps them all in order instead of being all over the place, I think is the right word.
Well,
And it's a good idea.
would know what the date was, and then would back up 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever and say, okay, is this, I'm in looking over, I don't think I have it in front of me. I thought I did. I'm wondering if in fact the metrics of measurement, I don't have that in front of me, I'm sorry, match the metrics that are address in a similar fashion the metrics that were originally submitted on that whatever that.
CRLGG.
Thank you, that grant. I appreciate Adam but when I look at the metrics that were originally written up for evaluation, they seemed a little different to me. Maybe not, maybe that was just the way I was reading it. And I'm certainly welcome somebody saying, nah, it's okay, Carolyn.
Well, I think the whole point, what I'm bringing up is that, I don't know if the chairman wants to appoint one of us, but somebody I think should take on that responsibility of trying to keep these grants on.
I think it's a wonderful project for finance.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful personnel.
It has nothing to do with personnel.
Oh, I think it does.
Nothing to do with personnel.
Anyway, I think
Let's think it over.
somebody needs to
Make a
step
decision
up.
on the next meeting.
Okay,
If we wait a little while, there won't be any more grants.
there's gonna be lots of grants.
That's CRLGG's.
Who knows?
Okay, so that's new business. I apologize for dragging that out for an extra 20 minutes, but some stuff I want to talk
Each
about.
item was worth talking about. Al.
Yes,
Um,
conversation is important.
finance report, we don't have anything.
Well, I have one thing. Carolyn brought
Oh,
this
you
to
do.
my attention. On the minutes that we just approved from December 16th, in my motion, or it was a motion by Carolyn and second by Gary, to approve the finance committee along with the clerk and treasurer to make necessary activity and fund adjustments to the 2020 budget prior to January 1, 2021.
No, we have to
I
send
think
that.
those dates need to be changed.
My original motion did not have the latter date in it.
I don't know how the date got in there, but I think we need to amend that motion, or Carolyn, you made the
Or just
motion.
extend it,
And change that date to,
no date.
well,
Well, yeah.
well, it has
Well,
to
2020, as long as you reference 2020, we don't have to put an end date on it.
make adjustments to the 2020 budget through, it can change instead of prior to January 1, 2021. What, treasurer, what do you think the date should be?
We still receive and receipt generally through mid-March.
So,
So we will have to make adjustments through March. And depending on when people turn in, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
so would you say March 5th? That would be our next, that meeting in March, or whatever, March 7th?
That's fine.
What are you thinking, Carolyn? You thinking?
Oh, yeah, as I said, I had not intended, because it's always been done in January and February.
Yeah, I understand.
So there would be no reason I would have put that January date in. But I think it got,
It's in our minutes somehow, so.
if Yara, you can go ahead and make the motion, and anybody can support it
Well, I'll
then.
make a motion that we amend the
Just make-
motion that we approve the finance committee along with the clerk and treasurer to make necessary activity and fund adjustments to the 2020 budget through March the 15th of 2021.
5th or 15th?
15th, I just said.
Support.
Ahead of the time.
Moved by Gothier, supported by Brumman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes.
Small,
Yes,
Drummond,
Yes,
Brady.
Yes. All right, we get anything from personnel
no,
this time? No. Treasurer, anything from you at this time?
I do.
Okay,
I
good.
have some lovely items for you.
Excellent.
I just have an updated fund list that I'd like to review, and it will be added to the end of the policies and procedures once the credit card information and anything you feel like is needs changing before it gets in there permanently, let me know, and I will do that. But I had emailed this a while ago, and there were some changes that needed to be made. This is just basically the back of the policies and procedures. I've been working with finance in regards to the budget. These are a few of the things that I have compiled. There were some, there needs to be some adjustments in a few departments. And I do not want to continue further if this is not the avenue that you'd like to see happen for the 2020. This is 2020. Going through each department and identifying the anticipated modifications that I have looked at. For example, on the very first page, the hospital insurance deductible was originally budgeted at $47.20. The year-to-date balance was 94,40, which I recommended a $7,000 increase to that line item. And as you can see down in professional services EMS, the anticipated charges did not meet the original budgeted amount. So that was able to be transferred up to that line item.
Okay. And that 7,000 in the hospital insurance deductible is anticipation of bills that might come in January, February?
We had 9,000 come in. You only
Right.
budgeted 47.
Right.
So I took that into account with an additional because there may be,
There may be some come in January,
There
February.
will be.
I left a $2,000, just a ballpark.
Got
You
ya.
can take it or leave it. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I got it.
This was these are color coded on my computer, but
Yep.
I can't print in color. So they were really pretty. The darker highlighted ones is a culmination of the dark
Yep.
areas,
Mhm.
and the excess in the budgeted amounts was 15,000. So we can glean 15,000 out of this budget
Mhm.
to be used to pay for the MERS,
Okay.
for example.
Yep.
Next one is not as pretty in the clerk's office. Only because the ones going straight across were ones that had modifications and
Right.
they were suggested modifications. Obviously, none of this is going to happen until you review it and I'll get a better, but I did not want to go forward. We have 50 or 40 some other budgets. I don't want to go in this manner if it's not the direction you want to take. But this budget, according to things that I have looked and anticipated, the modifications, there were increases in some of the wages that were adjusted to the actual,
Mhm.
which is what I have included in my recommended. And reducing these equipment, it put it in a need for 26,236.
Okay.
So this budget needs it. Many budgets need it. There were a few that could be modified within them, within their own budget to to not need any more money from the board.
Mhm.
$400 in the jury commission. 21 in the equalization department. 5,000 was in excess for central data. So I went through and did, the recommended modifications, which would reduce that overall budget, which left 5,271 because there were a few things that still needed to be paid out of those. That's why I did not include those in the highlight, and then I didn't include anything for salaries. Because that reflects, I did not take any money, excess budgeted money from the salaries because that was the workshare program. So none of the salaries were touched as far as excess, pulling that out, which would change their budget, which would be inappropriate because we did have employees on the workshare program, which reduced the amount of money that they got. And it wouldn't make an impact. I did, however, look into the hardware and the equipment and services that were provided. And I went through each budget, each department to see if the phone bills had been paid, if all the insurances had been paid, who was on hourly, who was on salary, what ones would need more money. So I have gone through these pretty extensively to find out where the excess can be found. So if you would like, I will definitely go through and continue on if that's the direction you want to go. If not, then it's a lot of work and I'm not gonna.
Oh, this is fantastic.
I think this is perfect. I mean, this is,
It's what we've done every year. In past.
I've not.
yeah.
I've done for my departments, but not for all of them.
No, but it's been done every year.
So
No, I think it's very good, Cheryl.
at the end, it's gonna, my intention was to, once I get this, I have a few more obviously to go through, but
Right.
once I get this done, I would ask that you as finance meet with the departments and have the conversation. There's not a whole lot. I have no say in the salaries and
Right.
that kind of thing. Those things aren't going to change, but I do know that with the work share program, and there were a lot of changes for 2020 and a lot of personnel wages. And so I just like to see that department get involved and make sure that they're comfortable with the wages and everything that's on here. And you can be accountable for work share savings that you had.
Okay.
I think it's perfect.
Yep. It's really good.
Other than that, that's all I've been doing.
That's all.
That's it. Does anybody have any questions? We haven't gone through end of year stuff. I mean, overall, you can look in the general fund and see that we are, it's still for 2020 looking like
Yeah.
a little askew, but we're working on that. We have identified $287,000 in additional revenues that will be amended for the budget that have come in. 63 was changed, was 63,000 was the tax dollars that were originally budgeted on a different a different number. So those things have been changed. So there is quite a few modifications, and I do not have a spreadsheet of that. I just have my worksheet. But I wanted to let you know those were the increases. It doesn't necessarily impact the bottom line because I'd like to see that impact what comes out of the delinquent tax revolving fund. And in most cases, it will work out to be, there will still be money obviously needed, dollars coming in from that, but it would be a reduced amount. And I'm not asking for the whole thing. I have not got to the spreadsheet portion to get it all out. And we do have revenues still coming in from the state and different entities, and finally
I
got a
noticed
few.
this morning there's still quite a bit.
Yes. So, and this was on the 28th. So I know there's a lot of work that was done on the 29th and for the end of year stuff. So it might need to be modified a little bit more, but so far that's what I have. And I'll continue in that fashion if that's your
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
desire. Other than that, anybody have any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Cheryl. Clerk, you have anything to add or subtract?
Nope.
Okay. Communications, I do have. I got a pile of stuff here, but haven't had a chance to review it. So that being said, I'll bring whatever communications I got to the next meeting. Anybody want to do some committee reports?
I will.
Okay.
Just want to bring to everybody's attention, we had a district health, a special finance meeting last Monday. And basically it was covering monies that they had in grants that they needed to spend before the end of the year. And we voted on and passed that the district health has bought 4 traffic alert traffic display messaging boards, panels that will be able to be, one will be in each county. They're seeing where they can use them when they have the mass vaccinations go on, where they can put them out and direct people to where it goes and stuff like that.
Sonny can use them in his food pantry.
Yeah.
When he has the drive-up food pantry.
The main thing about this is that there's going to be one in each county, and they will be available to be used if, say, the food pantry needs it on a special occasion, or the high school needs one on a special occasion. These units are going to be available. They were expensive, but I think it's really a good thing to let know that these things will be, one of these will be in our county. So District Health did that, and just for your information, that those things will be available. That's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else have any committee reports?
Just a couple things. Emergency food and shelter, and I think I sent this to all of you. We have a direct grant coming in at $4,900. It does not come to the county, but it's for county food pantries. Well, it's food pantry and housing costs such as electricity and those types of things. And we've got a meeting scheduled, I don't remember the date now, for distribution of those dollars. Northeast Michigan 211, 2 days ago, handled more calls in a 24-hour period than Detroit handled in any given day in Detroit. Detroit has no problem. Detroit 211 has no problem being on hold for a half an hour or more. Ours are answered normally within about 45 seconds to a minute and a quarter, minute and a half. What caused this tremendous influx was one of the counties
I just wondered.
distributed the information that you wanted to sign up for a flu shot, you could call 211. Well, we all know what happened there.
Mhm.
So,
And yes.
also, before the end of the week, some interesting statistics on drug usage from Nemery from SUD. And it's a 2-pager, and I will provide that to you on your desk. The other thing that I would, we don't have on our list, but maybe it should be, and that's the MIDC handling. And that can be turned over for the chair to sign each year. And I'm fine with that. But whatever the pleasure of the board is on.
What does it involve?
Oh, Michigan Indigent.
Indigent defense.
Thank you, Indigent Defense Commission. Making sure that Bill Pfeiffer gets the correct, and he's very good at it, very good at it.
Oh, I've dealt with some of his stuff already.
That they get the right amount, that they get the
Yeah.
budget to us, that they're spent appropriately. It's not a lot, but it does have to be signed off on.
Well, we just have, I mean, if we've done it, just have the chairman sign off in the past. We just
Pardon me?
carry- If the chairman just signed off in the past, we can just carry on with that
I've been
practice.
signing on it.
Oh, have you? So do we need a motion to make that continue?
Since the inception of it.
Do we need to change anything or
No,
what do you need?
I don't need anything, but I don't want to have it lost. And next late spring, summer, when we begin looking at, there are some new.
So it needs to
demand,
make it on this list.
and that's okay. Just as long as it doesn't get lost and we don't lose the money
Right.
because we're mandated
Right.
to do it.
Okay.
So we need to put it on.
Yep, that's fine. We don't have to make a motion to do that. We'll just put it on the
No.
list.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to have it lost.
Then we do-
I should have caught that sooner and I apologize.
That's all right. Anybody else have anything else?
I have one comment that I'm gonna have to get with finance. I was just informed that the windows for the tower at the ARA site down there at the track are being replaced. And funds have to be looked at, it's about $3,000, $3,500 for windows. There's, should be some funds that were used to be for the lumber that was cut down, that there should be some left in that area to cover that, but Tom Jacobs is putting new windows up in the tower. And I guess there's been the discussion about updating the tower for Ken Manning. Since he had that he did with the snowmobile people, and they're sort of looking in the future to have maybe the snowmobile racers participate in some form, hopefully some funds or something to update the inside. But the windows the Fair Board or the county was looking at from Kevin's standpoint.
So
I guess
something outside of fund balance that the fair board might have, or ARA site's different?
It would be
They're
for
different.
2021, wouldn't it be?
Oh, yeah.
So it would have to be something that they,
In the ARA budget. Okay, got it.
Well, this lumber that was cut, is that in a special fund or where is that?
It's in the,
It's in 208.
discussion area,
Okay.
I think.
it's a separate amount.
And it was a long time ago, earmarked for improvements on the fairgrounds, around the
Their money-
ARA.
Sorry, that's
No
in
restriction.
211. It's not in
It's
208.
the fund, that portion of the fund balance is in it, restricted for that purpose.
Okay, so we
So
have,
it exists. We just gotta
It
go
exists, yeah.
make a paperwork up for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like making up paperwork. Okay, then if commissioners are through, public comment for 5 minutes. Anybody in the universe have a 5-minute discussion for us?
I'm good. Thanks,
Oh, there it
guys.
is. Are you still there? You just want to say thanks? All right.
Just a thanks.
Okay, very good. Hearing no other comments, then, commissioners, additional comments and concerns. I think we covered that pretty much in the last thing. But, hold on. We got a new one?
Yeah, hey, this is Lenny from ACCOA. I want to know
Hey,
who
Lenny.
my commissioner is. I haven't met this person. I'm not sure because they took Gary's position there. Are you going to be our commissioner that's going to be attending our meetings? If so, I need your contact information so I can invite you to our meetings, which is the last Tuesday of the month. So who would that be?
That'd be, Mr. Thompson, Bill.
Okay.
If, you want to email anybody on the board that you do have an email address for, we'll forward it over to them and get you guys talking.
Thank you so much.
No. Trading, see.
Okay, commissioners, additional comments? Hearing none. Meeting adjourned until the next regular meeting, January 20th, 2021 at 1:30 PM. Thank you, everybody.